All right, so buying real estate in an IRA is like steroids for your real estate investing company. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you about, can you buy real estate in an IRA? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. I've got a very special episode with a guy named Allen Underwood, who is my partner. We have done multiple real estate deals together. I know for sure we've done over 150 land deals together. I personally do not have an IRA. However, Allen does, and we're going to talk to you about how he has purchased, him and I together as 50-50 partners, to buy real estate with his IRA, which ultimately allowed us to explode our real estate business. I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to another episode. I've got my good friend, Allen Underwood, who I've talked about in many of my YouTube videos with land. This guy was who gave me the confidence and the trust, as well as the motivation to really push my land business out of the water. Today, we're talking about, can you buy real estate in an IRA? Allen is absolutely the expert in that. I personally don't have a 401k or an IRA or any of that stuff. I do have a qualified retirement plan, a QRP, but it's really small and I'm not buying too much real estate in it. But without further ado, how are you, Allen?
Hey, I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me on here, Brent. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much for being on. I mean, we've been talking for the last 18 minutes. You're an entrepreneur as well. You own a property in Belize. You're opening up a couple stores. So you're in all types of businesses. So it's a pleasure having you on. Thanks for serving the audience. And, I guess let's answer the question. Can you buy real estate in an IRA? Like, yes or no? Or is there more to it than that? I know you kind of had some things you had to go through to be able to do that.
Right. So we'll start off by saying this isn't legal advice or, I'm going to just share my experience and what I did. But basically, I found myself one day, I was let go from the corporate environment. They gave me a nice retirement package. I had my 401k and I started really looking into, what can I do? Do I want to go back into the corporate world? And the answer ended up being no. And I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do with my 401k? Started doing some research, came across a great company, Sense Financial, and was able to meet with the president of the company there, Dimitri. And we talked a bit about what a solo 401k looks like. And basically, I was going to start my own business. I'm a licensed real estate broker as well here in Colorado. From starting to do some investing, I found out that I could use my 401k, but there were some rules around it. The biggest thing, which was a challenge for me, was maintaining arm's length distance from all of my transactions. I'm a get in there, want to get into, my elbows and everything. But, it's like, okay, well, I can create this plan, I can invest things, but I can't participate. And so, after some thought, that's really the direction that I decided to go.
I missed it. You said Sense Financial? How do
Yes.
you
SENSE Financial.
SENSE Financial, Sense Financial, and Dimitri, I think is who you said.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, they have a qualified plan that is acceptable with the IRS to use for your 401k as a sole proprietor.
Awesome. And then, a lot of people talk about the arm's length distance or arm's length transaction. I've been to real estate school. I had a real estate license. I no longer have one. But what is Allen Underwood's definition of arm's length transaction? Because I remember that with the apartment complexes, like there was some things that you wanted to come and do, but you couldn't do it. And we all felt bad.
Oh yeah. I felt like a bum, in that endeavor because, as you know, we invested with the 401k into the apartment complex and, it needed a bunch of work. It needed some demo work and the other investors were going to get together on the weekend and just go to town doing this demo work. And wow, there was a lot of work there to do, but I was like, sorry guys, I can't be a part of this. I could buy lunch. If anybody wants to buy lunch.
You were the only smart one to buy it, in your solo 401k or the self-directed IRA. And I want to see if you'll break that down too, but you're the only smart one. We're all out there, having to work, pulling down walls with trucks. And that was, you did kind of miss out on some fun, but anyhow, the pizza and the donuts were always good.
Yeah.
Is there any difference really in a self-directed IRA and a solo 401k? I know you're kind of explaining it right before we, started recording this.
I really encourage people to go out there and do some research for the specifics on this. Again, I'm not the expert. There's a lot of information at Sense Financial. But when I started my own company to be self-employed, that's really what put me in that 401k bucket. And there's different rules around contribution limits and those types of things. If I didn't have my own business, then I would be looking to other opportunities to roll my 401k into, which would be like a Roth or an IRA, which I could also self-direct. I'm not as familiar with all of those rules, except for that pretty much anything that you're doing with tax-free growth, the IRS doesn't want you to manipulate it so that it's a business that is just worked around the system of paying taxes.
That's a good point. Definitely want to talk to your CPA or your consultant, someone like Sense Financial, as well as bring in your CPA on this meeting or your accountant, somebody to kind of direct which way is the best route for you to take. And, don't just take it from one YouTube video like this or other YouTube videos. Talk to multiple people and make the decision that is best for your current situation. Do you have employees? Do you have a business? Or maybe you're the W-2 earner or you're a consultant, 1099, you want to just know those things when you go into this. So I guess the answer is yes, you absolutely can buy real estate in your IRA or your solo 401k. I believe we did that a lot with the parcels of land we purchased. A lot of them went right into your 401k account. Or am I saying that correctly?
Yes, it's the 401k. Yeah, the 401k account. I mean, it was amazing. I didn't know much about land, and I'd listened to a couple podcasts. And I remember the first day that I came to you and said, "Would you look at this deal for me?" And you said, "Yeah, I think absolutely we can make some money on it." And that was outside of the 401k, but that really just opened up this is the place to do it. Land, if nothing else, land banking is amazing. So partnering up with you to help me put the 401k money to use in a way more beneficial way than I ever would have got out of the stock market was really a blessing.
That's amazing. And I love hearing that too, because, we always want to make sure our partners and our other investors and our lenders are happy. Guys, I hope you're getting so much value out of this. If you have an IRA or know someone that has an IRA, definitely talk to them about how you can explode a real estate business doing this. You actually said a couple things. I want to go back to what is land banking? And then two is, like you mentioned, stock market, which I'm seeing my father use a lot of his land money, his land profits, and now putting it into the stock market. And I've always been pretty leery of the stock market. So I'd like to talk about that too afterwards. But what is land banking? Like, I keep hearing this term. I think I know what it is, and I hear people talking about it. But what's your definition of that?
Basically, land banking is a term that was introduced to me by a real estate agent in Belize. And it's the concept of money in the bank is always losing value to inflation, right? And so whether it's hyperinflation like we're seeing now, or even just the constant 2% that we've been seeing year over year, your return on what's sitting in the bank doesn't keep up with inflation. And so land banking is buying land. The land's not going anywhere. They're not making more of it. Real estate traditionally may have some hiccups and bubbles and whatnot, but it holds its value and it appreciates with inflation. Whether it's location-based benefits or any of that, year over year, it holds its value in comparison to inflation. So it's like putting your money someplace where it's not going to give you value.
Wow, beautiful definition. So rather than leaving it into the bank account, or let's just say that you leave it in a checking account that pays you nothing, and what was CPI was roughly inflation last year was 7% plus, and that's before you pay taxes on your purchases. So it's really probably even higher than 7%. If you put it in a piece of land that maybe appreciates 7% or 10% or whatever, you're still your money is working for you. Now, you wouldn't put your grocery money or your rent money to land bank, but that's anything extra, basically.
Correct. It's not as liquid, but what you're describing with inflation is exactly correct. You put $100,000 in the bank, and you have a year like we had now. Your buying power is diminished down to the $92,000, $93,000 range, and you've not only not invested, but you made a poor investment.
So yeah, I want to further explain that, because I'm a really simple-minded person when it comes to math. Say, for instance, my father-in-law had $100,000 in his safe. if inflation, let's just say 7% last year, which I'm pretty sure that's what the CPI said it was. So now his money is only worth 93,000, 100,000 minus 7. Let's just do it. 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 93,000. Like, you'd be mad if you woke up and you had 100 grand in your safe and in the next morning and it's only 93. Like, you're going to be like, who took 7 grand? Well, exactly. It disappeared. But if you're land banking, that's one way to avoid it, or buying real estate. We have a lot of clients that do that. All of our notes, a lot of people buying land from us every single month. And if you're looking for a place to buy some land, Alan and I got some land available in Arizona. If you're looking to land bank, head on over to getland.org. Again, that's getland.org. It's on the screen for you. And you can check out our land, and we allow you to make the monthly payments on this land. And literally we offer land banking for people.
And it's actually a better deal for people too, because the value of that monthly payment goes down with inflation. So you're taking that hit for them.
Literally. Yeah. I mean, we just talked to one of our clients that actually sold a bunch of the land that he had purchased from us, made money on it. So he had been investing for the last couple of years and literally just sold it, and also just took in a pile of money, and he's going to take it and probably buy more land from us with it. Really cool thing. All right, going back to the stock market, why real estate over stocks? I mean, we weren't planning on talking about stocks versus real estate today, but I just feel like this is where the conversation is leading me.
Yeah, it's, I can't let my wife watch this podcast here because she's a compliance officer for a major stock company. But
let's just talk about opinions. Let's not give financial advice.
No, there's definitely not financial advice. I've always looked at the stock market. It's kind of like Vegas to me. I've always been more of the short-term trader. I've looked at things that were volatile and benefited. Like, I've actually done pretty well with oil stock trading over the past couple years. But it's not anything that I've ever seen as being consistent, sustainable. I've always been uncomfortable with it for long-term investment. So, like, land has been something I have a lot of confidence in. I mean, I can't think of a piece of property that I've purchased in the last 3 years that's worth less money now than when I bought it.
I can't think of any of ours either. Even when I've made mistakes on it and purchased holes in the ground, treasurer's deeds, it still kept the value. I just love it because, like, I can go and farm on it. I can build a house on it. Let's just say there is a house. I can rent that house out. I can borrow money from the bank to buy it, and I can insure it. Someone else will pay me for it. I don't think that you can do any of those options with buying stocks unless you're doing options trading, which is a whole nother story, which sounds risky to me. But that's why, I mean, I love buying land and real estate. I get it. This was about talking about, can you buy real estate in an IRA? Yes, absolutely. But you want to find the right people to direct you, your CPA, your certified public accountant, or, Sense Financial that Alan mentioned. Alan, any more final thoughts you'd like to leave the listeners?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about land, but the other thing that, purchase into apartment complex with the 401k, I've actually purchased and flipped 2 houses on the Western Slope using my 401k, things that I bought off of auction. Went and found a realtor in the area that was familiar with all of the contractors and helped me evaluate the property in terms of, what it would reasonably sell for down the road. I actually ended up holding one in my 401k as a rental for, 2 years, and that was really amazing. But I, again, that arm's length transaction, my temptation to want to be involved, I had to do it 6 hours away from the home just to ensure that there was no way that I could do that.
Well, there's one down in Pueblo. I think you became the bank for that one, right? How's that one going?
Yeah, actually, so that was outside of the 401k. That was just in our normal investment business. But and you saved us on this one too, Brent. Thank you. But he actually just refinanced and paid off the note that I was carrying. So that worked out really well.
Time. That is awesome. I didn't know the good news. That's why it just hit me in the head. I just thought about it. So that's amazing. So was it a profitable deal?
Yes, despite all of our efforts to make it unprofitable, we still made a little bit of money on it. So
amazing. Thank God. But at the end of the day, sometimes you have some old dogs that you got to take out back and shoot. And then we always remember those, but we don't remember all the other hundreds of ones that we made money on. So
don't ever do a job that you wouldn't hire someone with your qualifications to do.
Whew. All right, I think that's worth repeating. Don't ever do a job that you wouldn't hire someone with your qualifications to do. Did I say that
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. That's how we lost a ton of money on Public, because we were just going to do it ourselves.
Wisdom, total wisdom. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely. Where can people reach out to you or find out more about you, Allen?
You can check out my Bug Out Land website, www.bugout-land.com, or just drop me an email, Allen@bugoutland.
Allen at Bugoutland, bugoutland.com. And again, getland.org. If you're looking for land between one of those two sites, we're going to find you. We're going to have something for you. Thanks so much for joining in, and definitely smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hey guys, I hope this was super valuable information. If you're interested in learning how to build the ultimate passive income business by buying and selling land with your IRA, or you know someone that has an IRA, or heck, you don't even need an IRA, you can build this business yourself. Head on over to thelandsharks.com. That's thelandsharks.com. Schedule a call with me and my team. We'll see what your real estate investing goals are and allow me to show you and hold your hand to walk you side by side on how to build the ultimate passive income business, buying and selling vacant raw land. And hey, maybe you want to hear more about our successful students buying and selling raw land. Head on over to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast and check it out.